Hey, delighted to have you here. Thank you for watching as always. So let's get into this video about creating proposals for your prospects as a freelancer. Now, I'm going to potentially be a little bit contrarian here, and I say I don't think you should create proposals for your prospects, which might be a bit of a surprise to you potentially. Now, the reason for that is 9 times out of 10, a prospect asking you, can you send over a proposal or can you send over a follow-up? It's actually just a get out of like I was just thinking of how best to phrase this, but basically, like they don't really want to move forward, right? It's an easy cop out for them to say, send over a proposal, or whatever. You're probably not going to hear back, and that's really frustrating because often, I remember doing this at the start of my freelance career. I spent ages on creating these bespoke proposals based on our conversations, researching the client's website, their previous activities, and my suggestions on how they could improve. Breaking down options for costs and all these sorts of things, spending hours and hours on a proposal, basically, without very little buy-in to the prospect. Now, there are a few nuances, and I'll come back to those in a moment as well, where you may want to do it, but I don't think you should. Now, one of the reasons why, because of course you need to explain the value and the service that you're going to be offering your prospects, but I do that as part of my sales process. So if you haven't already, download the guide. It's a free guide below on my sales process from lead to client. And I detail exactly how I do this. And basically what I do is almost do the proposal as part of the calls I have with the prospect. Okay. So I'm explaining and I'm giving a little outline, strategies. I'm working in marketing, as some of you know, but depending on what it is, you might do something slightly differently. But I'm giving little bits of suggestions of what we would do. But I'm not getting into any of the work until they make a commitment. I'm not building out a full proposal or a strategy or a plan until they commit to working with me. But through the process, from their side, they're never going to commit if they don't see the value add and build the relationship. So that's why the sales process I have in place works really well to do that, I believe, and it's been very effective for me, and many people have used the same. So take a look at that. Because what you'll then do is you'll be almost doing the proposal live on the calls. But crucially, you have the buy-in from the prospect because they're committing to a series of calls. And sometimes, and I detailed this, you can ask for some sort of homework between calls from them as well. So you're getting their buy-in, you're seeing if they're genuinely wanting to work with you. I mean, you want to get to a position of abundance as a freelancer where you're getting lots of leads and opportunities and you're picking the ones that you feel you can most add value, they're good fits for you, they've got the right fees, all that type of thing, right? So that's crucial to underpinning this activity because you're not going to feel the need to do these documented and long proposals then for a prospect. So I actually, if a prospect asks me to create a proposal, I actually say I don't do them. I say I no longer do proposals. So the best way for me is to go through these calls with you to understand more because proposals are too generic. And they don't actually add the value. So let's jump on another call if you're interested. And that's when you'll find out if they actually want to work with you or not. And if they don't, and if they're a time waster, then you save a bundle of time up front anyway, because you don't want to be going through that process of creating a proposal, chasing them up on emails, trying to call them and all that. You want to work with people who want to work with you. And you'll find that out by following the sales process in the guide below. But in terms of the point I mentioned earlier about whether you should ever or when circumstances when you could create proposals, if you're quite far down the process, there's very clear buy-in, and depending on the type of business you need to work with, perhaps they'll have to get this signed off by another person, or there might be other decision makers involved, and they have to present something. Now, that is understandable, and that's where you're going to want to have something that you can share with the client after one of the calls, but only if you have the buy-in. Don't be doing this after your first 20-minute, 15-minute connect call and then creating a proposal. Definitely do not be doing that. You could just say to the prospect, I don't do proposals at this stage. I'll be very happy to jump on a follow-up call to discuss the outline strategy. And at that point, I should have some more information to be able to create something of value. Now, then it's over to them if they want to give you that commitment or not. But yeah, if you get far down the line and it's very clear that there is buy-in, there's interest, you feel like the buy-in temperature is good, they want to, it's a live project they want to go ahead with quickly, or in the near future, should I say, then you can go ahead and create that proposal document which they can share. What I would say on that is you're going to want to have a template that you build out, so you're not putting hours and hours of work. So you have a kind of template, and then you can personalize it slightly by slotting in something specific about the client's project or requirements in there, so you're not wasting too much of your time on these things. Cool. So look, this is my philosophy on it. It works very well for me and other people as well. But if you have any other comments or thoughts, do post them below in terms of how you think whether you should create proposals, and if so, how you would go about that. I'm very happy to hear and share my thoughts on that as well. Excellent. Thanks for watching as always. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do, and I'll see you again soon.